When was the last time that you took a break, that you actually allowed yourself to rest just a little bit? And were you able to bring yourself back in when it was time to go? Were you able to take that extra energy that you gained, that sense of mind, a clear sense of mind that makes you feel refreshed, and actually bring it back in an energized way into your work? Or did you kind of give up on work? Did you get too lazy? You just didn't want to come back in anymore. And you felt like the more you rested, the less energy you had. These are all different scenarios of how resting can be used. Most of us will constantly take breaks and lack the discipline, lack the consistency to be able to achieve anything, to accomplish anything in life. Most of us struggle with consistency more than anything else. But there is a small group of individuals who are extreme achievers, who are extremists, who are constantly pushing. People who work so consistently, so hard, that they do not even allow themselves a moment to take any break from work. The problem with this group, and I fall into this group, that's how I know this, is that we have no true understanding of how much work we've done, how effective our work has been, how much more work we need to do. We're so deeply inside the projects that we're working on that we don't even allow ourselves to step back and take a look at the final product. Imagine you're building a house. Imagine you're painting a painting, right? You're focused on this detail aspect of it for weeks and months and years. In order for you to understand how it all functions, how beautiful it all looks as a final piece, you have to step away from it. You have to view it and give it all a glaze, a look, to then decide whether it's exactly what you thought it was or it's something different. And do you like that something different or no? And those of us who are extremists, those of us who are pushing through constantly, those of us who are pushing the boundaries of discipline, we tend to lack that ability. And that's such a crucial ability. We're talking about the ability to balance extreme discipline with moments of break, moments of just rest, silence, peace, where you allow yourself to do nothing, and then you come back and kind of re-examine the work you've done so far. Look at the project, listen to the music you created, right? Watch the videos you made. Look back at the previous exams that you took. Look at the results. See how much you learned. Try to speak the language that you actually spent the past, year working on. See how much you can actually communicate. How much of the information you've gained is applicable. How much of the stuff you accomplish is consistent. It actually shows. Do that more. But the problem with us is that the reason we don't do that is because we're afraid of not being able to bring ourselves back at that extreme level of discipline. We're afraid that once we take a break, we won't be able to come back in. We're afraid we're going to lose something. And maybe we will. Maybe you will lose a little bit of discipline. Maybe you will come back in and you won't be too happy with the results you've had. Maybe you decide that this is not even the path for you. Maybe you decide that it's time to move on. This isn't working. But you shouldn't allow the fears of all of those maybes to stop you from exploring the maybes. If you allow that fear to dictate what you're doing, truly what you're doing in reality is that you're wasting your life away. You're focused on a project that is empty. You're not allowing yourself to examine the possibility of it being empty. Time is clicking away. Life is moving on. And you're deeply focused on an empty project that is not the one. It's not meant for you. This, by the way, applies to relationships so magically and just flawlessly. It's too easy to continuously see one person. And if you happen to live in a place where you don't have a strong group of friends or a large number of people that you get to interact with, a large circle of a social circle group, you get too caught up with that one date, with that one individual, with that one girl. And in order for you to ask yourself whether this is the right person for you to be in a relationship with, or be seeing consistently, you need to step away from it to re-examine it. When you're together with that person, it is so hard. It is extremely hard to re-examine the moment. Men struggle with that more because we rely on the emotional support that we get from the partner in ways that a woman doesn't really rely on that coming from a man. And so we're getting some sort of emotional support. We're getting this deep friendship that makes us feel like this person is best friends with us, right? It's really difficult to examine and ask yourself that question, whether you should end the relationship with your best friend or not. But the important questions are the ones that define our lives. The important questions are the ones that dictate the direction of our lives. The important questions are the ones that open up new chapters for us, or keep us in the same book, keep us on the same chapter. Do not fear the important questions. Do not fear the results that come from asking the important questions, and do not lie to yourself when it comes to responding to those questions. Be truthful, man. Be truthful with who you think you are, what it is that you think you want, where you think you've made mistakes, where you think you have made great progress. And I keep putting the word think in there because we don't know. When you reassess your life, these are only your own perspective, which is that what's shining through is your own perspective. And your own perspective is neither false or true. It just is. You see the world through your eyes. There's no point for us or anyone else to try to change your perspective, because that's the way you see the world. I am a supportive character in my own life and in the life of all my friends and all clients, to help you manipulate your own view so that it serves you best. But to change your view, I believe it's almost an impossible task. Change comes throughout our lives based on the experiences we go through. Change is not a result, it's not a choice, it's not a light on and off switch that we get to just apply into our lives. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. I wish it did. If it did, then every therapist, every coach, every teacher would probably go out of business, all for the better. But change is much more difficult than that. Change has a lot to do with the circumstances we put ourselves in. So when you allow yourself to take a break and reassess the work you've been doing, the relationship you've been in, the projects you've worked on, that allows for any source of change that might be sort of manifesting through to surface, to flourish. And you can't deny that. if you do, if you deny that, you'll be walking somebody else's path. A person that you do not resonate with. You'll be living somebody else's life. A person that doesn't feel like you. People will be responding to you, and you'll feel like you don't know them. Because the perception they have, the perspective they have of who you are is actually not someone you identify with. So this path of moving towards relationships that don't serve us, working in careers that don't serve us, it's a very dangerous path, because it continuously, you go deeper and deeper into the darkness, deeper dive into the ocean where the pressure is higher, it's darker than before, your oxygen tank is running out. Don't do that. Allow yourself to come back up for air. Thank you.